Hello everyone. In the previous video we have discussed about some basics and principles of UV visible spectroscopy. So in this video we will continue that topic. We have talked about different kinds of transitions in different compounds like KMnO4 transition metals and coordination compounds, complexes. They show different kinds of transitions like N to pi star, sigma to sigma star, pi to pi star. These kinds of transitions are the responsible, or these transitions will give a lot of information about any chemical compound, and we can estimate their properties, their lambda max values. So we will continue that one in this. To know about the lambda max of any chemical compound, we will go on a new rule, Woodward-Fieser rule. It is helpful to get lambda max of any chemical compound. Theoretically, it gives a quantitative data. Yeah. So before going to different structures and calculating lambda max values, we have to know some basics to go on this rule. So first in this Woodward-Fieser rule, first we have to know about two things, homoannular and heteroannular. What are these things? Like in this we can see that in this structure two double bond are in conjugation, like A double bond B and C double bond D. These two double bond are trans to each other. So this type of structure we call it as a heteroannular. Or we can see that these two double bond are trans to each other. So it is transoid also. And lambda max for this heteroannular is 217 nanometer. This lambda max we call it as base value. While calculating lambda max of different structures, we have to consider base value. First of all, we have to decide what kind of molecule is this. So in deciding that, we will take this base value, and another one is homoannular. Here we can see that these two double bond are cis to each other. This is called the homoannular. Or these two double bond are cis to each other, so we can call it as cisoid. And the base value for the homoannular or lambda max is equal to 253 nanometer. These are the two basic things we should be aware about it while calculating lambda max of any chemical compound. Now you see what is the basic thing in this. In heteroannular, two double bond are trans to each other. In homoannular, two double bond are cis to each other. Now we can change their orientation in any way. Like if I do like this, This is also a transitoid or heteroannular. This is also this is the cissoid or homoannular. You can see that these two double bonds are cis to each other. So in this way we can decide about heteroannular and homoannular. Now we will go on next thing which is required for Woodward-Pfizer rule, that are exocyclic and endocyclic double bond. Now talking about these structures. In this structure, this double bond is inside. In this structure we can see that there are two rings, ring A and ring B. In A the double bond is inside the ring, so it is an endocyclic double bond. And if we talk about the ring B, this double bond is also inside the ring B. So this double bond is endocyclic with respect to the ring B. First, I have to erase this so that you won't confuse. This double bond is endocyclic with respect to ring A, and this double bond is endocyclic with respect to ring B. Now, how we define about the endocyclic bond? It should be inside any ring. The double bond should be inside the ring is called a endocyclic double bond. And what is exocyclic double bond? It should be a part of the ring. Sorry. It should be a part of any ring, the double bond. Now talking about this double bond, while defining about exocyclic double bond, it should be a part of any ring, as well as it should be present in one of the corner of any ring. Like talking about this ring, this double bond is not at the corner of this ring. But if we talk about this ring B, this double bond is at the corner of the ring A. So it is exocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A. But this double bond is not exocyclic to any of the ring. This double bond is exocyclic with respect to ring A. Now in this whole structure there is one exocyclic double bond and two endocyclic double bond. Exocyclic double bond, this is the exocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A, and the endocyclic double bond are corresponding to their own rings. Now we will talk about exocyclic and endocyclic double bond in rest of these structures. In this structure we can see that there are two rings, ring A and ring B. We are naming it to consider the double bonds. Now this double bond is inside the ring A, so it will be endocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A. Endocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A. Now the same bond is not at any of the corner of any ring, so it is not an exocyclic double bond. Now coming to this double bond is inside the ring A, so it will be endocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A. At the same time, we can observe that this double bond is at the corner, or this is a part of the ring B, so it will be exocyclic with respect to the ring B. So this double bond is exocyclic double bond with respect to the ring B. And at the same time, both the double bonds are endocyclic with respect to the ring A. Now coming to this structure, this double bond is inside this ring, so it will be endocyclic with respect to this ring, and it is not at any corner, so it want to be exocyclic. Now coming to this double bond, it is inside this ring, so it will be endocyclic double bond with respect to the ring this one, and it is at the corner of this ring, so it will be exocyclic double bond with respect to the second ring. This is how we can tell about exocyclic and endocyclic double bond. Now, in the same way, you can give information about exocyclic and endocyclic double bond in this structure. You can do by on your own, so that you will get practiced or get familiar with these kind of things. So this homoannular and heteroannular and exocyclic and endocyclic, these are the basic things which are required before going to the Woodward-Pfizer rule. Now we have seen about homoannular and heteroannular and endocyclic and exocyclic. Now we are ready for going to the Woodward-Pfizer rule. So for calculating lambda max of different structures, we have to first go through this table. This table what shows that like group in the left side and increment on the right side. The extended conjugation is plus 30. I will tell you what are these four, and for the time being we will consider this table. Extended conjugation plus 30, each exocyclic carbon double bond carbon is plus 5, alkyl substituent or ring residue plus 5. These all are in nanometers. For ester OCOR, it is a acyclic ester, or OCOAR, it's a aromatic ester. For the ester, increment is 0. For ether, plus 6. For SR, it's plus 30. For halogen, chlorine or bromine, it's plus 5. And for NR2, primary, it's a tertiary amine, plus 60. Now we will go on the first we will talk about the Woodward-Pfizer rule for dienes. So Woodward-Pfizer rule for dienes. In dienes, we have seen two basic structures. These are, 'a' 'acyclic, 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 'a' 'acycli diene. These are two acyclic diene or 1,3-butadiene. This is the trans form and this is the cis form. For trans form, base value is equal to 217 nanometer, and for cis form, base value is equal to 253 nanometer. Here we can talk about a new thing like why the trans form has a low lambda max value than the cis form. It's because the orbitals are in such a way in the orientation in the cis form is like that the antibonding orbitals can the transition can take place easily. The energy gap between or energy required for the transition in cis form is less, so the observed lambda max value will be higher for cis form. So these are the basic for Woodward-Fieser rule for diene. Now we will consider some molecules to calculate lambda max value. First of all, we will calculate lambda max value for this molecule. Now, there are while looking any structure, first we have the step first we have to do is highlight the base, highlight the base structure. Now in this molecule our base structure is this acyclic diene. This is how we can highlight. Now step second is check for alkyl substituents or ring residues. Here we can see that this substituent is there. We have highlighted the base value, base structure. Now we can see that one substituent is attached to this. This is the alkyl substituent. So we have done it. Now step third. Check for exocyclic double bond. In Woodward-Fieser rule, we won't check about the endocyclic double bond because endocyclic double bond doesn't have much effect. We will consider the only effect of exocyclic double bond. Now in this structure it is clearly shown that there is no ring, so there is no place for exocyclic and endocyclic double bond. So these are the only two things in this. For now we will go up to the step third. It's okay. Now, first of all, we will write the base value. The step 1, base structure, and write the base value. Base value for what? It's a acyclic diene. Now this is the transform, so base value for this is 217 nanometer. Now we have one alkyl substituent. Now we will go on this table. We can see that alkyl substituent or ring residue has effect of +5 nanometer. So we will add +5 nanometer in the base value. Now there is no exocyclic and endocyclic double bond, so we will simply add these two. So the addition will come out to be 222 nanometer. This is the lambda max for the given structure. So this is how we can calculate lambda max value for acyclic diene. Now we will consider another structure. This is our structure. We have to calculate lambda max for this structure using Woodward-Pfizer rule. Now the first step is highlight the base structure. Our base structure is trans acyclic diene. Now the second step is check for alkyl substituent or ring residue. Now here there is no substituent is there. Here we can see that there are two substituents here. Now we can call it these two as alkyl substituent as well as ring residue. What is the difference between alkyl substituent and ring residue? That this substituent is forming a ring, closed ring, and this substituent is also forming a closed ring. So these two are ring residues. We can also call it these as alkyl substituent, but more specifically, more particularly, we can say these are ring residue. Now check for exocyclic double bond. Talking about this double bond, this double bond is not inside any of the ring, so not as well as not at any of the corner of any ring. Talking about this double bond is at the corner of this ring, or it's a part of this ring, so it's an exocyclic double bond. Now in step first we have highlighted the base structure and we have to write the base value. Base value for what? Acyclic diene. This is 217 nanometer. Now in second step we will write the effect of two ring residues. So if according to this table, alkyl substituent has an increment of +5 nanometer. So here are two ring residues. So +5 into 2 will be +10. Overall ring residue effect will be +10 nanometer. So there are two ring residues. Now, how many numbers of exocyclic double bond in this structure? This is only one exocyclic double bond. So one exocyclic carbon double bond carbon. The effect is same as the alkyl substituent, +5 nanometer, because each exocyclic carbon double bond has +5 increment, as well as the alkyl substituent or ring residue has also has the increment of +5. So any other thing in this structure? No. So we will simply add these three. (232 nanometer is the lambda max value for this structure. So this is how we can calculate lambda max. We will practice more structures. Now we will calculate the lambda max value for this structure. So first step is highlight the base structure. What is the base structure? We can see that this is cyclic diene or this is a homoannular. These two double bonds are cis to each other. And what is our base structure? It will be the two double bonds. So base value will be homoannular. Homoannular diene. What is the base value for homoannular diene? Is 253 nanometer. Now the second step is check for alkyl substituent or ring residue. So we will focus. In the first step we have highlighted the base structure. Now we will focus only this part of the whole structure. We won't bother about the other things which are attached to it. We will focus only this base structure. So how many numbers of substituent attached to it? This is 1, 2 and 3. Total 3 substituent attached to the base structure. So this is a ring residue, this is also a ring residue, and this also a ring residue. So total 3 ring residues are there. So impact for alkyl substituent or ring residue is +5. In this structure, total 3 ring residues are there. So the overall effect will be +15 nanometer. Now going to the step 3rd, check for exocyclic double bond. We will see this double bond. This is not at any of the corner of any ring. While checking about exocyclic double bond, we have to consider each and every ring given in the structure. So first we will consider this ring A and this is ring B. So for ring A, this double bond is not exocyclic, and this double bond is also not exocyclic into ring A. So there are no exocyclic double bond with respect to the ring A. Now going to the ring B. For ring B, this double bond is at the corner of one of the corner of this ring B. So it will be exocyclic double bond with respect to the ring B, and this double bond is not exocyclic with respect to any of the ring. So total one exocyclic double bond in this structure. So one, this double bond is the exocyclic. One exocyclic double bond. Plus 5 nanometer. For exocyclic double bond, plus 5 nanometer, and for endocyclic double bond, there is no impact. So after this, we will add all these values. So this is the lambda max value we are getting here. So this is how we can calculate the lambda max values for die-in. We have discussed about the acyclic die-in, and this is the cyclic die-in, also a homoannular. In the same way we can take for heteroannular. So I will give two examples for practice for you at home, so that whether you can confirm that I have understood or not. So for the practice purpose, I am giving two structures. You can calculate by your own. So these are the two structures. You can calculate the lambda max for these values. We will meet in next video discussing about these structures, what are the lambda max for these structures, and we will further consider different species to calculate lambda max values. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you.